sir.
The matter of
I mean, we don't do it just because it's high time. We as Nigerians, we can start.
Well, I came into politics because I looked at the whole scenario and I found out that majority of the people are running away from politics.
My name is Innocent. In the issue of Buhari administration, to be honest, I would tell you that Buhari administration has not been doing well. They're not doing well at all. I don't want to say APC in particular because we have some states where APC are doing well. But now I'm talking about the individual. To be honest, I think this present administration, if not the worst, one of the worst administrations so far in the history of democracy in this country. What do I mean by that? When you immediately the present administration emerge as the president, we start hearing about Fulani herdsmen killing people in so many states in Nigeria. Yeah, they promise us that immediately they emerge as president or immediately they come to power that they will conquer Boko Haram. Today, have they conquered Boko Haram? They say they are fighting corruption. I think they are not fighting corruption. They are fighting opposition party and they are passing their oppositions, and which is not normal. I think it's not the right thing to do. If you really want to fight corruption, you fight corruption without saying, oh, this is my brother, this is my cousin, this is my relative, this is my friend. You don't fight corruption with sentiments. If you are fighting corruption, you make it a neutral ground, not fighting those in other political parties, those that are kicking against your political agenda. The present Nigerian youth are making this country proud. They are the people that are setting us back. During the time of Buhari, in my age, Buhari has been in government. In my age, at the age of 30-something years, Obasanjo has been in government. The late Odumegwu Ojukwu has been in government. Gowon has also been in government. What happens to our present administration? What happens to our present generation? Why must they hijack everything? When you go to the civil servant sector, you discover that people that are even up to 70, 80 years are still working. You see fresh graduates, they don't have place to fix in. They ask you about your 6, 7 years experience. Where do you get the experience from? They are all there. So they are the people that are, that is why you see a lot of Nigerian youth going into entertainment, in football, music, entertainment, and so many things. I think the Nigerian youth should come out. Let's kick this present administration out of the government.
Welcome to this special series of letting you know who is our presidential candidate in Nigeria. It's a long series. We started sometimes last week and it's going to be the trend in the coming weeks. Today we are very glad and happy to have one of the presidential hopeful in Nigeria, Mr. Daniel Akinlani. He is from Ondo State and is currently running for the office of the President of Nigeria come 2019. We shall be having a word with him of his aspirations and what he intends to do for Nigeria. Don't go away, we'll be right back. Welcome you, sir, to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Very good to have you. Your first attempt into politics was in 2014 to run in 2015 presidential elections. And of course, you missed the nomination under Action Alliance Party. Tell us what happened there and what led you to where we are now.
Well, I think that it was just purely politics. And then we had good idea and some good plans to get involved and bring what we are doing now in place then. So, but I think it still boils down to the party democracy, the internal structure in political parties. So I think one thing led to another that unfortunately we couldn't get a ticket under that party then. But here we are, 2019. This is a different ballgame. This particular race we're pushing this time around is definitely to bet a new Nigeria that works. Being one of the young Nigerians that have been pushing for paradigm shift in the past 10 years. I've contributed at different fora to how Nigeria can develop. I also lead a group of young, vibrant Nigerians called 150 Million Nigerians for Change. We've been around now for like 6 years. So we've been hosting lectures, seminar, and also getting involved in community works, trying to sensitize the citizens to get more involved in leadership. And especially when we say we need a true change, we need a new approach to leadership. Our generation cannot sit down and fold our hands. So we need to get involved. So we've been doing that to mobilize as many as possible at the grassroots level to get involved in politics, to bring new ideas on board so that this country can move forward.
Okay, tell me, what is the inspiration for you to come out to run for the biggest slot in Nigeria, which is presidential position? What is it in Aso that you want to go pick? And what difference will you make? You've had consistent 19 years of democracy, and of course, it's just the same garbage all the way. So, how do you want to make a change? How will people believe you? Because it's all about promises yet unfulfilled.
First, I have this passion in my heart for this nation, Nigeria. And I strongly believe that our generation needs to stand up and be counted now. We don't have much time on our side. I'm in my 40s. And before you know it, our kids are growing up. We cannot allow the mess that we are seeing today to continue without standing up to challenge it, to drive a way to change the country. So it's this passion that actually got me up to start thinking of what I can contribute as a Nigeria, that we can have a new Nigeria that works, a nation that we can all be proud of. But as it is today, you can see the level where our country is. You can see the effect of corruption on our resources. Nigeria at independence was one of the best countries that the whole world was looking forward to, especially to drive Africa. Even in the 70s, there was a time that in the West, especially in the UK, Nigerian Naira was publicly accepted as a means of exchange for business. But the story is different today. You can see the mess everywhere. The infrastructure that we have around in the country today.
How do you want to change that?
So that is why people like me are coming on board this time around. People have asked us, why don't you go for Senate? Why don't you go for governorship? Why don't you go for House of Rep? And I keep telling them, the vision I have, the dream in my heart is at the presidential level. I have the ideas and the policies to unlock the potentials of Nigeria, that this country can become great again. So I see that is where my ability is. I have fantastic ideas. And when we come on board, we are going to raise the bar in leadership. And what do I mean by this? We're going to raise the standard. We're going to open up the space that there can be more transparency and accountability in politics. And, you know, you could probably be imagining, how do we go about that?
Yeah, I was wondering.
We're going to start a system whereby from the day one we are sworn into government, we will declare our assets to the public. And now we're not going to stop at that. There's going to be an executive order to make every government official to declare their assets publicly till we get an enabling law that will eventually make it to become a law. And now it's not just about declaring the assets. What we are bringing on board is to ensure that we are going to have the president, the vice president, his cabinet members declaring these assets every year to the public, not just to the Code of Conduct Bureau. So we will be bringing that openness and transparency. And you know what this will do to Nigeria? First, there's no country in Africa that's ever done that. This will open the space for accountability, that people can begin to gauge, measure what a public officer should be worth over a year. If a man declares that he's worth 100 million now, and over a period of 1 year you look at his source of income, maybe perhaps it should be worth 200 or 300 by then. If after 100 million, your first year in office, you are now worth 10 billion, you have a case to answer.
Okay, I mean, democracy, they say, is the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. And of course, you have free hands of government, the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. In a situation where you find yourself, just like this present administration, where you have a national assembly that's not cooperating with you, you have an executive that is reading of bureaucracy. Look at our civil service. There's nothing that can move forward with the kind of civil service that we have until you have reforms. I don't want to change that in the span of 4 years.
Well, I think in this situation we have now with APC, where you have the executive always having issue with the legislation, it's a self-made problem. There is nowhere a party wins the election and the leadership of the party will fail to do the needful in getting the people who work for that mandate to be in the leadership of the National Assembly. Yes, like in this case, almost everybody contributed at one place or the other, and even the people who are in the leadership right now also claim that they contributed to the success. But you knew that the party had a different plan. So the most important thing, first, get your leadership right in the National Assembly. When Nigerians give you a mandate as the president, after winning the election, sit with all the lawmakers, the intending lawmakers going into the National Assembly to avoid this kind of crisis, and use the political will at your disposal to make sure that the party supremacy have its way. But as it is right now, notwithstanding the faction the National Assembly belong to within the same ruling party, the president has no choice than to work with the National Assembly. In fact, in democracy, the practice is that you must lobby the National Assembly. You must bring lawmakers to the table, both within your party and the opposition. In fact, the problem APC is supposed to be having is the opposition, but is the reverse way now. The problem is even inside the APC. The opposition is not giving APC that kind of problem in the National Assembly. So in democracy, the opposition is where the headache should be coming from. That's where you see the president always sitting with them, negotiating with them, lobbying them, so that, you know, some of the bills that are important to the executive can be passed. So but I think the executive also has wasted too much time in the past 3 years to really put their crisis behind, that is the election of the leadership behind, and lobby, negotiate with this National Assembly where necessary, so that the work can be done accordingly.
Okay, and that's a candid opinion. We need to go for a short break now. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Yes, we are back, and of course, this issue of money politics in Nigeria. You know, we've had politicians on and off, and they've always come with promises. But at the end of the day, the electorates don't get the dividend of democracy. Hence, they will rather take some money off the politician and wait for another 4 years of bad governance. And this trend has continued to make the electorate not to believe in our system of democracy. Now, you're running for a presidential position. What is your war chest like? Are you going to be spending money like the others do? And how do you get there if you don't spend the money?
Actually, you know, I don't have the war chest. So I'm banking on the support of the ordinary Nigerians. All my career life as an advertising practitioner, a businessman, a visual artist, you could gauge, you know, what an average Nigerian like me could have saved if I've saved so much.
But you believe that about 300 billion to run for president?
No, we actually, in the true sense of it, if you have a good policy and you're a good candidate, good material, you don't need to spend 300 billion.
But that doesn't matter to the electorate. You are bent on taking the money.
You don't need to spend 300 billion. So that is the same politics that some of us are trying to challenge and to change. The politics of stomach infrastructure, the politics of what is in it for me, the politics of what do you bring to the table, the politics of bag of rice, bag of beans in exchange for vote. Nigeria cannot continue to go that path. We can't even grow to compete with the best in the world if we continue that path. So that's why some of us are challenging that same system. That's why we're joining. We need to enlighten our people. We need to sensitize our people. We've had enough of selling the future for porridge, for a plate of porridge. So people need to look at the candidate in this coming election. What are they offering? We need to vote for future. We need to vote for development. If you are voting for someone that is promising you money or that will come to the polling booth to share 2,000 or 5,000 naira, what you eventually get is someone that will go there to recoup his investment. But we need a paradigm shift from this way of life for Nigeria to grow, for Nigeria to rise and progress. Our people need to start thinking about the future. If any politician is giving you anything now, think about the implication of what you are collecting. You may not have the right to challenge that person again after collecting the money and the rights. That's why we end up seeing in the past few years the very worst of Nigeria. People that lack ideas, that lack principle, that lack character, leading the country. And it's simply because politics have been left to the money bags. So what we are bringing on board is politics of ideas, politics of innovation, politics of accountability. So the bulk of our work will be on sensitizing Nigerians to shine their eyes. Vote for people with the most brilliant policies in this election. Vote for people with the most brilliant ideas to move Nigeria forward. And I think we need to also remind our people there was a time in this country that people were not voting based on who is sharing rice. Even at the independence, the elections before independence.
Even the PWL elections.
Yes. People came out to vote on conviction. So we need to sensitize our people. People should come out, look at all the candidates, listen to them, and vote on your convictions.
Before I go on, I need to ask you this, and this is a very important question. For you to have an ambition to come and rule, there should be a reason behind it. What would be your views about the President Muhammadu Buhari administration in the past 3 years, particularly on his strategy to curb the Fulani herdsmen and farmers, considering security issues like Boko Haram and the economic issues in Nigeria? How can you score PNB on this?
Well, I think we don't need to beat about the bush. This government campaigned on the strength of stopping the security challenges. But in all honesty, the security challenges is still everywhere. We are battling with armed bandits in Zamfara right now. Now, the crisis in Benue, Taraba, Plateau has never abated. So for me, even the claim that Boko Haram has been decimated or defeated or in whatever way is not substantial. Boko Haram is still attacking. The past few days we saw the video of Shekau and his members pray on the Salah day. Still somewhere between Nigeria and Cameroon border. And there are still all these attacks coming up every now and then in Borno State, Yobe State, and even some part of Adamawa State. So to me, we have not seen much gain. So this government has not done well as far as the security aspect of their campaign is concerned. And looking at the Fulani herdsmen, I think to start with, part of the problem we are having right now is the political will on the part of the federal government to do what is right. We should start from making Nigerian law supreme. Whoever kills should be arrested, irrespective of what divide of the crisis they belong to. Either you are indigene or you are headman. If you violate Nigerian law, you should be arrested and be dealt with accordingly to the law. But part of the problem right now is that we are not even enforcing the law. There's too much of politics and the influence. So for us to get it right, we must draw the line that whoever carries arm should be arrested. They are not licensed to carry arm. Then you see them, the herdsmen carrying AK-47 everywhere. We must start by upholding the law. Let's crack down on this group of people that has been violating the law of Nigeria. Get them arrested.
Okay, a little is known about your United Progressive Party. A little is known about, and you want to run on that platform.
Well,
I'll guarantee.
No, the party has been around for a while.
But we've not seen a lot done by the party, and we don't know the party manifesto. So how can people be convinced that?
Don't worry, I can assure you, the party presently has structure in all the 36 states, and work is going presently inside the party in preparation for the election. Okay. So many Nigerians will be surprised how much the influence the party has got all over the country. So, and also I can tell you as well that we are working around the clock too as well to strengthen our structures in all the 36 states. So the party obviously is not notorious for corruption. The party is not notorious for Dasuki Gate. The party has not been involved in all the shenanigans that have been happening, and we are happy for that. And part of the reason why I moved into that platform is just because I know that this is a party that can accommodate new breed politicians. So I think by the time the campaign starts, you will see how far we can go.
Okay, I want to believe you on that, but you know you're going to go around the 36 of Nigeria.
Definitely.
And a lot of logistics involved.
Yes, definitely.
Is the party big enough to do that for you?
Yes, we are ready for it. We are ready. We're not banking on any godfather. We're not banking on the money bags in the politics. We're banking on Nigerians. Nigerians who are buying into our campaign. And Nigerians who believe in the party. More people are coming to the party by the day, registering and becoming members.
Okay, what would be your strategy to have you in place as the president? How will you convince Nigerians to vote for you in the 2019 elections if you win the primaries?
Well, I think winning the primary is the most important aspect of the journey. Because the party politics alone is a different ballgame. So once we get a ticket, the rest of the work is not as difficult as you think. We have one of the best policies for this election. Solid manifesto. And I personally, even before joining United Progressive Party, have been canvassing for a true federalism in Nigeria. And that is going to be the cardinal point of our campaign. Getting Nigeria to the point where we can have a genuine national conference that will lead to national referendum, where all the issues affecting Nigeria can be resolved.
So you think we're better in regional government than the kind of
well, as it is, our government is going to be the channel to summon the assembly. Nigerians will come and decide. Okay, yes, we could have proposal that we will be better off with 6 autonomous regions, geopolitical zones, so to say, that could maybe perhaps control percentage of their resources and remit some to the federal government. And also, there are a number of items that are on the exclusive list right now that should be removed and be brought to the concurrent list, so that the states also can participate to bring more on the table for growth, for national growth. So the stake is high. But our government is not going to dictate to Nigerians exactly the way to go. Our government is going to provide the platform. A fantastic platform that has never happened in Nigeria. And I can compare the vision we have with the 1951-1952 Constitutional Conference that took place in Ibadan, that led to the first election. The conference was attended by all Nigerians. And the issues about Nigerian independence started from there, long before it was clamized in 1956-57. So we need that kind of constitutional conference. A lot of people have been asking, okay, what happened to the Confab 2014, the Abacha Confab, and the previous ones? What we are saying is that we bring all the reports of the Confab together. We bring all Nigerians together. And how do we proceed to do this? I, as a president, my number one job with the political will I have is to lobby the National Assembly. We will send a bill to the National Assembly that this bill will give us the power to summon the conference of all Nigerians, and that the result of that conference will now be subjected to a national referendum. Now, some of the items to be expected in that conference will be the issue of regional economic autonomy, that the regions can become more economically viable, that we stop this feeding bottle federalism, that the states have to go to Abuja every month to collect allocation like youth copper alawi. So many issues. And I do tell people, if we're talking about reforming the power sector, reforming the economy sector, that the Nigeria economy can be diversified, that we can have tangibility for being the biggest economy in Africa, that we can have impacts to reduce the poverty rate. Everything boils down to restructuring. Look at power. The bulk of the work, 95% of activity going on in the power sector is in the hand of the federal government. We need to take that from the exclusive list to the concurrent list. So, and we can't do all this without restructuring, without amendment to the constitution. I quite agree there are aspects of some of these reforms that the president can achieve by executive order. Just take a look at the Confab 2014 report. There are some, about 25% of some of the resolutions there. The president that is willing and ready to make a move for progress for this country would have used executive order to achieve about 25% of those recommendations without needing to go to National Assembly. And I know that there are about 75% of the recommendations that have to pass through National Assembly. For example, one of those that you don't need National Assembly law for. That same Confab 2014 recommended that we should return to Independence National Anthem, 1960 National Anthem. All it takes is an executive order, similar to the honor given to June 12th, for Nigeria to return to that. And there are other items in Confab report and some other reports that have come up before the 2014 Confab. So what has been lacking for years is the political will of the hand of the president. That political will is called the goodwill to see the future, the goodwill to be the visionary, the goodwill to take Nigeria from where it is now to the next level. And when I become the president.
Okay, if we are given an offer to forgo your ambition by the big wigs, maybe PWL, APC, one of these bigger parties, will you take the offer?
Well, let me be sincere with you. I have passed that level. What I'm doing, the vision I have for Nigeria is not for trade by barter. The vision I carry in my heart for this nation, the dream I carry in my heart is the dream that endures. I'm not stepping down for any money bags. We are in this to push to the very end. till we see a new Nigeria emerging.
Fantastic, great, nicely said. Let's look at the kind of gunpowder that we have in our hands in Nigeria as we speak right now, and that is youth unemployment. It's so high that you've seen a lot of our youth going into crime and drug abuse. How do you want to eradicate that?
Well, we have a lot of work in our hands. I think we start from the leadership first. A lot of young people, many Nigerians, so to say, beyond the young people, many Nigerians have lost interest in the leadership. People have resorted to taking laws into their hands. And you hear them, they will say, the country is messed up. Nothing is working. In fact, many young people involved in internet fraud, you hear them claiming that they are collecting back what the colonial masters stole from their great grandfathers. You know, misplaced thinking. And this misplaced thinking is coming out of anger with a failed political system. The people are angry against the political class. And they are now resorting to different things to survive. So where to start from is addressing the leadership crisis. The leadership that has failed, that the people have lost trust in. We need to bring in transparency. We need to bring in integrity. We need to bring in accountability. Let the people begin to know and see a new set of leaders that they can trust with national resources, that they can believe are not stealing. Okay. And from there, we start to look at all the loopholes, avenues where the economic factor has led to poverty. Because at the bedrock of this crime is poverty. When the government begins to alleviate poverty situation and begin to take the citizens out of poverty, crime will reduce.
Okay, you've been an advocate for youth empowerment and national development. What are your views about Not Too Young to Run bill that was recently assented by President Muhammad Buhari?
Well, I think it's one of the greatest moments in our democracy. And you look at it, almost 65% of the voting population in Nigeria election are the youth. Okay. And it's encouraging to give the power to them. I actually don't like using the comparison of the age of Yakubu Gowon when he was head of state, Obasanjo when he was head of state, and because I quite agree with them that the responsibility they were given them, they were handling, carrying on their shoulders, prepared them faster than their ages. But notwithstanding, it's good to see Nigeria coming back to that stage where the young people with ideas and innovation can get involved in politics again. And I tell you, check most of the advanced democracies in the world, they are giving space to young people, both at the presidential and governorship level and at the National Assembly level. They are giving because the older folks one day must retire. And if you don't have a system that can always recruit the new entrants with new visions, new ideas, a country will get to a place where you find yourself recycling people that are worn out. So I think passing that bill into law and the president assenting to it is one of the fantastic moments of the journey to this 2019 election, and one of the fantastic moments of our democracy that is going to 20 years. So I believe the young people all over the country should take advantage. Some of us are past that age of running maybe as a 30-something-year-old for president. We're in our 40s now. But the opportunity has happened to their own generation. They should take advantage of it. And I strongly believe there is a load of potentials that this avenue is going to release to the nation. If we can allow them, give them space to compete fairly, and they enter the political space, the political system in Nigeria will see a turnaround in the next 5 to 6 years.
Okay, President Muhammadu Buhari just honored MKO Abiola, the winner of the June 12, 1993 elections, and also giving him national honor. Do you think that was a political move?
Well, I think so much has been said. In politics, as they say too, those in the ruling class, all is fair in politics. Either it's political move, or it's just an administrative move. All is fair in politics. But to me, I think it's a welcome development. It's long overdue that June 12th should be recognized as Democracy Day, and the late Chief MK Abiola should be recognized as a former president. It's a welcome development. But notwithstanding that gesture, from this part of the country where I am from, people are sophisticated. Nigerians cannot be baited by such decision. And so much will still happen before the election, that will outshine this decision. People will decide on performance, not on honor done to June 12th.
Okay, fantastic. Before we go, I just got two more. How do you intend to cope Nigerian professionals in diaspora into your strategy of revamping the nation from the state as which we are now? They're watching you on our global network. You want to talk to them?
Yeah, fantastic. That is one of the key areas of our agenda. Bringing the manpower, the resources that have left this country back home to rebuild Nigeria. You are aware of the brain drain that has been happening in the past 15 years. So, starting from the health sector, our target is to bring the best of our professionals that are outside the country to come back. I know you've been wondering how we're going to do it, where the funding will come from. You don't worry. Wherever there is a will, there will be a way.
So there's a worship somewhere.
When we are elected into office,
Okay.
our government will look for every avenue in terms of partnership and support at the global level that we can revive the health sector. And I know what I'm talking about. We've seen so much shape in the past 3 years. As a country, our head of state will be somewhere in the UK for 2 to 3 months receiving medical treatment. We are determined that this shame, this reproach must be wiped off when we get to government. And we are going to start by having 6 world-class hospitals in each geopolitical zone. Each zone with 1 world-class hospital. And 6 altogether in all the geopolitical zones. Part of the things that we are going for, we will have a world-class hospital to treat cancer and kidney-related diseases and issues. The best in this part of the world. That our people will not be traveling out again for cancer treatment abroad, for kidney-related issues. The medical tourism that has been happening will be abated. And then we will also position the country that will be taking care of the medical challenges in Africa. That is our target. And each of these hospitals will be in each region. So by doing so, God will empower us to remove this reproach. That in the future, our president, our governors won't need to leave the country. Then, the best of Nigerians abroad, manning some of these hospitals where our political leaders are going, will be coming back home to work here. So that is where we are going. And beyond that, in the aspects of technology, we have many young Nigerians outside the country that are doing well. There are so many of them in Silicon Valley. We are bringing them back home. We are going to build the Nigerian brand of technology to compete globally. And how do we go about this? We are going to assemble the best of the very best of Nigeria. This tech hub that is springing up now, and this present government has been focusing on it very well. They just went to Northeast and also went to Southeast. We are taking those tech hubs to the next level to start training the potentials that we have to become competitors in the technological space, that Nigerians can also drive our economy through the technology. So the same thing too with the manufacturing sector. We're going to look at how we can reposition all the industries that they can get the kind of leverage they need to get. But by and large, if we keep talking about all these reforms without power reform, we are not going to go far. And we can't reform the power sector without restructuring. So everything comes back to restructuring Nigeria to true federalism. Then the doors will be open for the opportunities to take Nigeria to great places.
You have the ambition, you have the vision, you have the mission, you know what you want to do. I want you to convince me in 3 sentences, will you make the change Nigeria is open for?
Well, you know what I can promise? By the grace of God, if we are elected and God giving us breath and power, we are going to rebuild the walls of Nigeria and surprise everyone in this nation. Where the least expected, we are taking Nigeria there. God giving us grace, God giving us resources, God giving us power to accomplish this race. We will not turn back from the mandate given to us. We will not jettison the people. We are here in this to lift the people above poverty and change this country for good.
Mr. Akinlani, it's a pleasure to be with you on set today.
Thank you very much.
I look forward to a very good and brighter future.
Thank you.
Very consistent. And matter of
I mean, we don't do it just. It's high time. We as Nigerians, we can start. Well, I came into politics because I looked at the old scenario and I found out that majority of the people are running away from politics.